I woke up in my sister's body, staring at the scalpel scar on her wrist that I'd never noticed before, and the first thing I did was smash the mirror with her fist, blood trickling down like the tears I couldn't cry anymore. My own apartment, the one she'd sold out from under me while I lay gutted open on that operating table, was already listed on Zillow by noon, and I laughed, a hollow, unfamiliar sound, because she had no idea the monster she'd just handed the keys to. In that moment, with her designer heels pinching my toes and her diamond necklace choking my throat, I decided I'd burn her empire to the ground, one stolen signature at a time, and make her watch from the ashes of what used to be mine. It started with the surgery, of course. Not some back-alley hack job, but the kind of cutting-edge procedure only the filthy rich can afford in this godforsaken country. Experimental neural mapping at a private clinic in Midtown, the sort where they promise to realign your synapses after a car wreck leaves you with migraines that feel like God's own jackhammer to the skull. I'd been in a pileup on the FDR Drive 6 months back, courtesy of a distracted Uber driver scrolling TikTok, and the settlement money was supposed to fix me. Instead, it funded this quackery. Dr. Elias Voss, a silver-haired charlatan with a god complex and a Rolodex full of Manhattan elites, who swore his consciousness echo tech could rewrite the pain pathways in my brain. Maya Reynolds, 32, graphic designer scraping by in a rent-stabilized walk-up in Hell's Kitchen, finally catching a break. Or so I thought. My sister, Lydia the golden child, Lydia the VP at Goldman Sachs with the corner office and the Hamptons weekends, had footed the bill. Anything for you, May. She'd cooed over FaceTime from her penthouse, her Botox-smooth face filling the screen like a bad omen. She'd always been the fixer, the one who swooped in after Mom and Dad's overdose when we were teens, turning their brownstone into a rental empire while I buried myself in student loans and freelance gigs. Deep down, I knew she resented me for it. The way I'd walked away from the family business, the way I wouldn't sign over my slice of the inheritance pie when Dad's will finally cleared probate. But blood's thicker than water, right? Wrong. Blood's just the first thing she spilled. The day of the surgery, I signed the consents in a haze of Ativan, the Or lights buzzing like angry hornets overhead. Voss droned on about quantum entanglement of neural patterns, some pseudoscience bullshit that sounded like it belonged in a Marvel flick, not a sterile suite overlooking Central Park. They wheeled me in, masked faces blurring, and the last thing I remembered was the anesthesiologist's voice. Count backward from 10, Maya. 9, 8, then nothing. Blackness, absolute and hungry. When I came to, it wasn't in recovery. No beeping monitors, no four-drip tugging at my arm. Instead, silk sheets tangled around legs that felt too long, too toned from spin classes I never took. My eyes, her eyes, fluttered open to a ceiling fan whirring lazily above a four-poster bed in a room that screamed old money. Crown molding, abstract Rothko knockoffs on the walls, the faint scent of Chanel No. 5 lingering like a ghost. I bolted upright, heart slamming against ribs that weren't mine, and stumbled to the en-suite bathroom, flipping on the light to confront the face in the mirror. Lydia. My sister's face stared back. High cheekbones, ice blue eyes, that perpetual smirk she'd inherited from Dad. But it was me inside, clawing at the glass, my mind a whirlwind of fragmented memories not my own. Boardroom negotiations, a lover's whisper in French, the metallic tang of betrayal I'd tasted in her champagne at last year's gala. What the fuck? I ripped off the hospital gown. No, it was a silk robe now. And there was the proof. Her tattoo, a delicate laurel wreath on her hip from that sorority trip to Santorini, the one she bragged about while I nursed hangovers from cheap beer in college dorms. I'd swapped. Somehow, in Voss's mad science machine, our consciousnesses had crossed wires. I was in Lydia's body, and God help her, she was trapped in mine. Panic hit like a freight train. I fumbled for her phone on the nightstand. Face ID unlocked it instantly, because of course it did, and the date stared back. The same day as the surgery. No time had passed. Or had it? Texts flooded in. From her assistant, confirming a 2 p.m. meeting. From her doorman, about a package. And then, buried in the chain with our family lawyer, the gut punch. Deed transfer complete, it read. Maya's apartment sold for $1.2 million to the anonymous buyer. Funds wired to your account per power of attorney. Power of attorney? While I was under the knife, she declared me incompetent, cited my mental fragility from the accident, and liquidated my only asset. The walk-up I'd fought tooth and nail to keep, the one with the exposed brick and the view of the Hudson at sunset, gone. For cash to pad her portfolio, no doubt. Rage boiled up, hot and unfamiliar in this stolen vessel. I dressed in her walk-in closet, tailored blouse, pencil skirt that hugged curves I'd only dreamed of, and grabbed her keys. The elevator ride down to the lobby felt like descending into hell, her reflection mocking me in the polished brass walls. Outside, the December chill bit at skin that wasn't calloused from years of schlepping art supplies on the subway. I hailed a cab. Lydia never took the train, and barked the address of my old building, the one she'd just auctioned off like yesterday's trash. The realtor was there already, a slick weasel in a Brooks Brothers suit, slapping a sold sign on the door as a young couple toured inside, oohing over the built-ins I'd installed myself. I watched from across the street, fists clenched in her leather gloves, the wind whipping her blonde bob around a face I wanted to claw. This was betrayal distilled, not just theft, but erasure. She'd always seen me as the weak link, the one who'd tanked our parents' legacy by opting out of the grind. But there was more, flashes from her memories seeping in like poison. Dad's will, hidden clauses, the night of the overdose that wasn't an accident. Lydia had been there, arguing with him about the business, her hands shaking as she pocketed the pills afterward. I'd taken the heat back then, lied to the cops about my own struggles to cover for her, because sisters protect each other. Or so I'd thought. By the time I stormed the realtor's open house, the couple was signing prelims in the kitchen. "Excuse me," I said, channeling Lydia's boardroom ice. "There's been a mistake. This property isn't for sale." The realtor blinked, then chuckled. "Ms. Reynolds? Your sister already." I cut him off, slamming her Amex on the counter. "Buy it back. Now. Double the price." The couple gawked, but money talks in New York, and by sunset, the deed was mine again. Ours? No, hers, in this twisted limbo. But it was a start, a declaration. That night, back in her penthouse overlooking the glittering abyss of the city, I poured myself a scotch from her decanter, top shelf, the kind that burned smooth, and plotted. Voss's clinic had glitched us, but it was reversible, he swore in the fragmented emails I'd found on her laptop. A second procedure, riskier, but possible. Until then, I had her life, her access, her power, her secrets. And oh, the secrets. Digging through her files was like peeling back layers of a rotten onion. Offshore accounts siphoning family funds, emails to Voss about enhanced empathy trials that sounded like mind control experiments. And worst of all, proof she'd framed me for the accident. That Uber? She'd paid the driver to swerve, to teach me a lesson after I refused to sell my shares. I'd borne the scars, the therapy bills, the lost career momentum, while she climbed higher on my blood. Sleep came fitful, haunted by dreams of her in my body. Waking up groggy in the recovery room, realizing the swap, her horror mirroring mine. But pity? Nah, this was war. Tomorrow, I'd step into her heels at Goldman, unravel her web from the inside. And when the climax hit, she'd beg for the body she threw away. The Goldman Sachs trading floor was a beast unto itself. Carnage of glowing screens, the perpetual hum of caffeine-fueled chatter, and that undercurrent of desperation that makes Wall Street feel like a casino run by sociopaths. I strode in at 8:45 a.m., Lydia's Louboutins clicking like gunfire on the marble, her RFID badge granting me entry to the sanctum sanctorum without a raised eyebrow. Her team, 3 Ivy Leaguers in ill-fitting suits, swarmed me with updates, derivatives spiking on the euro, a hedge fund imploding in the Dakotas. I nodded, bluffing through jargon I'd overheard at family dinners, my mind racing ahead to the real play. "Cancel my 10 a.m. with Hargrove," I said, voice pitched to her authoritative lilt. "Reschedule for after lunch. And pull the files on the Reynolds family trust. Everything." They scattered like roaches, and I retreated to her glass-walled office. The city sprawled below like a conquered kingdom. Locking the door, I fired up her desktop, triple password protected but child's play with the sticky notes hidden in her drawer. The trust documents unfolded like a house of cards. Dad's original will, bequeathing 60% to me for creative pursuits, the rest to Lydia for stewardship. But amendments, forged, backdated, Flipped it, citing my instability. Attached, psych evals from a doc I'd never met, painting me as suicidal, unreliable. The accident report, too, twisted to imply I'd been the distraction, not the victim. Vile rose in my throat. Not hers, mine, the real me screaming inside this porcelain shell. She'd stolen my future, layer by layer, while I played the grateful little sister. But the deeper I dug, the uglier it got. Encrypted folders revealed Voss's involvement. Payments from Lydia for consultations, notes on selective amnesia induction. The body swap wasn't an accident, it was her endgame. She'd planned to rehabilitate me, her word, in my body, pump me full of drugs to erase my memories, make me compliant, then swap back once the paperwork cleared. Sell the apartment? Just the appetizer. The main course was total absorption. My shares, my voice, my goddamn soul, folded into her empire like a bad merger. I needed allies, but who? Her contacts were vipers, every one. Flashing through her calendar, I spotted Elena Vasquez, junior analyst, sharp as a stiletto, the kind of Latina powerhouse who'd clawed her way up from Queens without kissing the ring. Lydia's emails dripped condescension toward her, but Elena's replies were steel, probing questions, quiet pushback. Worth a shot. I buzzed her in under pretense of a mentorship chat, and she entered wary, dark eyes assessing. Ms. Reynolds? You wanted to see me? Her accent was faint, honed by years of code switching in rooms like this. Sit, Elena, and drop the Miss shit. Call me Lydia for now. I slid a folder across the desk, printouts of the trust forgeries, anonymized. Her brows shot up as she scanned, lips pursing. This, if it's real, it's felony territory. Embezzlement, fraud. But why me? And why now? I leaned in, letting vulnerability crack her facade. Just a hint, enough to hook. Because you're the only one here who isn't bought. And because it's not just about money. It's personal. Our family's been gutted by this, and I need someone who sees through the bullshit. A lie wrapped in truth. Elena didn't need to know the body horror yet. She flipped pages, then met my gaze. I'm in. But we do this clean, no vigilante crap. I know a whistleblower at the SEC who owes me. We plotted in whispers, leaked the docs anonymously, trigger an audit that'd freeze Lydia's assets. Controversial? Hell yes. Tanking a sister's career to expose her, even if she deserved it. But ethics are luxury items in America. Survival's the baseline. By noon, Elena was gone, files en route to her contact, and I was prepping for Hargrove, a venture capitalist with a taste for ethical gray zones. Hargrove lumbered in at 1:15, a bull of a man in seersucker, reeking of cigar and entitlement. Lydia, darling, heard about your sister's little episode. Tragic. But business waits for no one. About that neural tech startup. Voss's pet project, funneled through Goldman's VC arm. I played along, probing. Dr. Voss assures discretion, but risks. Consciousness transfer, it's sci-fi, not FDA approved. He waved it off. Risks build character. Besides, your investment's already tripled. Just sign off on the next round. His pen hovered over the term sheet, but I hesitated, feigning concern. What if it backfires? Swap's gone wrong, permanent damage. A shadow crossed his face, gone in a blink. Hypotheticals, Lydia. We're not in the business of what-ifs. But later, rifling his briefcase while he took a powder, I found it, a waiver, buried in legalese, absolving Voss of anomalous neural migrations. They'd tested this before on whom? Indigents, probably, the invisible underclass vanishing into clinics for chump change. The afternoon blurred into calls and cocktails at the Polo Bar, where I nursed a martini and eavesdropped on whispers of market jitters. My phone, her phone, buzzed, a text from Maya's number. What the fuck is happening? Get me to Voss now. Her, in my body, frantic. I smirked, typing back. Rest easy, sis. Doctor's orders. Attach a photo of the apartment keys, dangling like a noose. Her reply, a string of curses, then silence. Good. Let her stew in my old life. The leaky faucet, the super who never shows, the ghosts of our childhood fights echoing off thin walls. Night fell heavy, the penthouse a cage of glass and steel. I raided her wine cellar, uncorking a 95 Bordeaux to chase the adrenaline crash. Memories bled and stronger now. Lydia's first kill, not mom and dad. But Uncle Ray, the business partner who'd sniffed her skim, poisoned scotch at a holiday party I'd covered, said he OD'd on coke because family. The weight of it crushed me. I'd been her scapegoat since we were kids, taking the blame for shoplifted lip gloss, for the fire in the garage that nearly torched the block. Deep betrayal? It was foundational, a chasm she'd widened with every lie. A knock shattered the haze. Voss himself, unannounced, his topcoat dusted with snow. "Lydia, we need to talk about your sister." His eyes, sharp behind rimless glasses, flicked over me like he knew. I ushered him in, heart pounding in her chest. "She's recovering," I lied, pouring him a glass. "What brings you here, doctor?" He sipped, then set it down. "The echo procedure. It entangled more than intended. Reversals are possible, but time-sensitive. Synaptic degradation sets in after 72 hours. 48 left, then. And the ethics, your funding relies on discretion." I pressed. "Test subjects? Success rates?" A pause, too long. "Classified. But for you, Lydia, an exception." He pulled a vial from his pocket. Clear liquid, shimmering. "Stabilizer. Buys time. 1 dose for each." I palmed it, mind whirling. Give it to her, swap back, and let the SEC wolves devour us both? Or withhold, let the degradation claim her mind while I dismantled everything? Controversial decision number 1. Mercy or malice? I chose the latter, flushing half the vial down the sink after he left. For the greater good, I whispered to the empty room. But whose good? Hers, fraying in my skin? Or mine, clawing back a life stolen twice over? Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving. Elena texted, "Audit triggered. Lydia's accounts frozen by end of day. Phase 1 complete." I dressed for war, her power suit, my resolve, and stepped into the fray, the city's pulse sinking with the storm building inside. The fallout hit like a market crash at 10:17 a.m. sharp. Alarms wailed from Lydia's Bloomberg terminal, red alerts cascading. Account lock, regulatory hold. Her, no, my. Team pounded on the glass door, faces pale as ghosts in the fluorescent glare. I buzzed them in, feigning shock. What the hell is this? Demands flew, frozen trades, client panics, whispers of insider leaks. Elena hovered at the edge, her nod imperceptible. Our signal. I'd prepped to cover. Technical glitch. Stall until I sort it with compliance. But sorting meant diving deeper into the viper pit. I commandeered the boardroom, dialing Hargrove on speaker while execs fidgeted like schoolboys. "Lydia, this is insanity. Your trades are toxic now. Pull out of Voss, or we're sunk." His bluster cracked. He knew the feds were circling. I pushed. "Or we exposed the waivers. Human trials, non-consensual. How's that for your portfolio?" Silence, then concession. "Fine. I'm out. But you owe me." Click. One thread pulled, the whole sweater unraveled. By lunch, the street buzzed with rumors. Lydia Reynolds, the Ice Queen, caught in a family feud gone nuclear. Reporters camped outside the building, iPhones thrust like spears. I slipped out the service exit, hailing a black car to Voss's clinic under Lydia's name. The place was a fortress of discretion. Smoked glass, armed security in Brooks Brothers, the air thick with ozone from hidden servers. Voss met me in his office, a sterile shrine to hubris, diplomas from Johns Hopkins, patents framed like trophies. "Maya," he said, not even blinking. Or should I say, the echo in my benefactor's shell? Ice water in my veins. "You knew. From the start." He steepled fingers, clinical. "Lydia commissioned it. A safeguard against your intransigence. The entanglement was calibrated for reversal, but your resistance, fascinating. Neural plasticity at work." He slid a tablet across, scans, waveforms spiking where mine and hers overlapped. 48 hours remained before permanence. Administer the stabilizer, or watch her synapses fry. Yours too, eventually. I pocketed the second vial he'd offered. Insurance, he called it. And the others? The test subjects you vanished. A flicker guilt? Or calculation? Volunteers. Homeless, addicts, eugenics for the modern age. They consented in writing. Lies, all of it. Her memories confirmed. Screams in the basement labs, bodies shuffled to facilities in Jersey. Voss wasn't just a doctor. He was her weapon, a modern Minjal bankrolled by Wall Street greed. I left with a promise. Fix this, or I burn your research to the ground. Outside, snow swirled, blanketing the city in false purity. My next stop, the apartment, my old life calling like a siren's song. The super let me in, no questions for Lydia's face. And there she was, huddled on the futon in my body, eyes wild, my familiar curves swallowed by an oversized hoodie. Sis. Her voice, my voice, cracked. Maya? What the fuck did you do? I locked the door, leaning against it. Me? You sold my home while I was cracked open on your dime. Framed me for the crash. Poisoned Uncle Ray. And this. I gestured between us. Your pet project to lobotomize me into submission. She lunged, but my body, weak from the wreck, the drugs, was no match for her borrowed strength. I pinned her easily, her sobs muffled against my shoulder. It wasn't like that. Dad was going to ruin us, giving you everything, you who didn't want it. I fixed it. For the family. Fixed? You murdered them. I covered for you every time. The OD, the fire, the lies. I took the fall so you could shine. Flashes assaulted me, her gloating in mirrors, my tears dismissed as drama. Deep betrayal, yes, but laced with a twisted love, the kind that festers in American dynasties, where success devours the weak. She sagged. Swap back. Please. I can't. This body hurts. The pain, it's yours. Controversial decision too. Truth serum, Voss style. I uncapped the vial, half empty now, and forced a drop between her lips. Her eyes glazed, memories spilling. The night she dosed Mom and Dad. Not overdose, but mercy. Dad's cancer terminal, hidden to protect the business. She'd borne that secret alone, until I became the patsy. You were always the soft one, she whispered. I protected you. Protected? By stealing my agency, my home, my mind? Rage crested, but doubt crept in. Had I been blind to her burdens? No. This was her empire, built on my bones. Stay here, I said, cuffing her wrist to the radiator with zip ties from the junk drawer, her own paranoia supply. Think on your sins. I left her there, the apartment a tomb of what-ifs, and returned to the penthouse to accelerate the endgame. Evening brought the climax, a gala at the Met, black-tie sharks circling for blood. I arrived in Lydia's gala gown, emerald silk that whispered scandal, Elena at my side as +1. Whispers followed, the frozen accounts, Voss's name dropping like confetti. Hargrove cornered me by the Egyptian wing, breath sour. You leaked it, didn't you? That neural shit. Feds are raiding the clinic tonight. Good, I hissed. Let them find the bodies. His face purpled, but before he could retort, sirens wailed distant, real, closing in. Chaos erupted, guests fleeing, flashes popping. Elena grabbed my arm. SEC's here. We gotta go. We bolted through service corridors, emerging into the alley where my cab idled. But Voss was waiting, flanked by goons in ill-fitting tuxes. Lydia, or whoever, the stabilizer. Hand it over. I tossed the empty vial. Too late. His men advanced, but Elena, God bless her, maced one, kneeing the other in the balls. We piled into the cab, tires screeching toward the bridge. Your place in Brooklyn? She asked, breathless. Safe house, I lied. Truth. Back to the apartment, to confront the unraveling truth. Lydia was catatonic when I arrived, the drop wearing off. Her. My. Body twitching with phantom pains. Maya. It's degrading. I feel you fading in me. I knelt, uncuffing her. One last choice. Swap back, face the music together. Or I let it end. You in my skin, me in yours, empires crumbling. She laughed, bitter. You'd win. Always the hero. No, the villain, forged in her fire. As Voss's empire imploded on the news ticker, raids, arrests, consciousness horror headlines, I realized the twist. The swap wasn't just tech. It was judgment, forcing us to wear each other's sins. Controversial? To mercy kill her mercy? Or drag her through the courts? A spectacle for the tabloids? Dawn broke, undecided, the city awakening to our reckoning. The raid on Voss's clinic broke across every feed by 6 a.m. CNN choppers hovering over the East Side fortress, anchors intoning about unethical human experimentation, with that grave timbre reserved for American scandals. Theranos 2.0, but with souls on the line. I watched from the apartment window, coffee bitter on Lydia's tongue, her body heavy with the night's exertions. Elena had crashed on the couch, scrolling alerts. SEC filings unsealed, Trust forgery's front page in the Post. Sisters swap. Betrayal in the boardroom? They'd pieced it wrong. Of course, no mention of the body horror, just financial fuckery. But close enough to ignite the powder keg. Lydia stirred on the futon, my old frame gaunt under the blanket, eyes hollowed by the synaptic bleed. It's over, she rasped. Hargrove's lawyered up. Voss is singing to the feds. They'll trace it to me. To us. I corrected, sliding a plate of takeout eggs her way. Greasy diner fare, the kind she'd scorned in life. You pulled the strings, but I danced the puppet. Eat. We have a funeral to plan. She recoiled. Funeral? Voss is done, but the reversal. Gone with him. Lie. I'd palmed the last dose during the scuffle, hidden in her clutch. 48 hours ticked to 24. The stabilizer could save us both, or just one. Controversial decision 3, salvation or sacrifice. In America, where second chances are for the privileged, I'd already chosen. But doubt gnawed. Her memories, bleeding freer now, painted a fractured portrait. Lydia, 28 and terrified after Dad's diagnosis, dosing the pills not for greed but grief, a mercy masked as murder. I'd known, deep down, and stayed silent, complicit in the cover. We'd both borne crimes, hers premeditated, mine by omission. Elena woke, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Maya. Lydia. The whistleblower hit paydirt. Voss's logs, dozens swapped, rich clients hopping bodies like hotel rooms, youth serums for the elite, discarding the donors like trash. Her voice trembled. It's bigger than us. Human trafficking, identity theft. The feds want statements. I nodded, stealing Lydia's features. Give them mine. Tell them everything. Except the swap. Plausible deniability. Elena left for the field office, her hug fierce. You're doing right by the ghosts. Ghosts? Yeah. Mom's laugh in the kitchen. Dad's off-key Sinatra on Sundays, erased by our ambition. Alone with Lydia, the air thickened. Why not end it? She asked, eyeing the vial I'd confessed to hiding. One dose. You take it, swap back, I fade. Poetic, right? The screw-up sister dissolves. Tempting. I uncapped it, the liquid gleaming like absolution. But that's your play, martyrdom for the headlines. No, we both live, in these skins or not. Face the music, the trials, the rot we grew. I split the dose, half for each, diluted, risky, but enough to halt the decay. She drank first, gagging on the chemical burn, then me. Tingles spread, synapses realigning, but no snapback. Permanent or delayed. Voss's notes hinted at echo-permanence after exposure. We might stay swapped forever, ghosts in each other's machines. The twist hit mid-swallow. Her eyes cleared, but not with gratitude. With cunning. Maya, she murmured, my voice sly. You think this absolves you? I saw your files too. The freelance gigs you skimmed from the trust, the lover you ghosted after he got sick. We're the same, sis. Monsters and mirrors. Bullshit. Or was it? Flashes, my own small thefts, justifications echoing hers. The betrayal cut deeper. Not just her crimes, but the revelation that I'd romanticized my victimhood, ignored the rod in my own roots. We'd hoarded the family secrets like dragons, incinerating each other in the process. Sirens wailed closer. Feds at the door, Elena's tip leading them here. Lydia Reynolds. A burly agent filled the frame, badge glinting. We need to talk about the clinic. She, in my body, stood, straightening with unnatural poise. Agent, my sister and I have a statement. I followed, her heels wobbling on my unfamiliar feet, the world inverting once more. The trials dragged into spring. Voss in orange, spilling on the elite. Senators, CEOs, all body-hopping for immortality's edge. Lydia pled out, fraud and manslaughter, 10 years in white-collar purgatory upstate. Me? I walked, the victim in the narrative, but with her face, her name, rebuilding from the penthouse ashes. The apartment? I gifted it to Elena, a quiet thanks. But the ending? Debatable as hell. We swapped back in a black site procedure, 6 months later, Feds tech, reverse-engineered from Voss's ruins. Waking in my skin, scars and all, felt like rebirth. Or punishment. Lydia, in hers, sent letters from prison. Miss your fire, May. Keep the empire warm. I burned them, but kept one line. We deserved each other. Happy. In a twisted Yankee way, justice served cold, family bonds reforged in hellfire. Tragic? If you buy the myth of innocence, that blood can't be unspilled. Me? I walk the Hudson paths now, migraines gone, sketching designs for neural ethics reforms. The city's hum mocks us all, but in the quiet, I wonder, did I avenge, or just become her? The mirror doesn't answer. Yet,